Yeah, well, Hollywood's put out a lot of bad content, but I'm a fan of the Spider-Man movies, and you worked on those, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. I worked on that along with hundreds, probably thousands of other movies. Yes, correct.
And Simone, you've got
Yeah.
a background in Hollywood as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I started my career in front of the camera when I was 19. And so now it's been 30 years. I'm not ashamed to say it. I have been mostly in front of the camera all of my years. That put me on, film and television sets for years. Ended up marrying my husband, who I met on a TV show back in 2008 called Boston Legal. And so I was, when I started, I was not a believer. I was not a follower of Jesus. When I started, I did not come to faith until about 10 years into my career. And at that time, so I had experienced everything. I basically had drank the Kool-Aid of Hollywood and sort of even just the excitement of being an actress and a model. And when I came to the Lord, things really shifted for me. I stepped away from Hollywood. I went into ministry for a season. I shared my testimony across the country with thousands of young girls. And, that really, I think the sort of the Hollywood background and the ministry background really ended up merging well together, because I always felt like, and I knew in my spirit that God was going to use my past and my experiences to further the kingdom through the arts and entertainment. And so I did go back to Hollywood for a season and was there to be salt and light on the sets. I mean, God does place people there to share the gospel, to bring joy, to pray for people and all of that. And I certainly did that. But I think it was during the pandemic, about 2020, when I really felt God shifting me, sort of like a sharp right hand turn. And Rachel and I were one of the ones who had been in Hollywood and experienced Hollywood in a way that we were just done with seeing how everything, lined up with the pandemic, and there were vaccine mandates and mask mandates. And I mean, it was almost like Hollywood was woke, but then they went 100 times more woke during the pandemic.
Well, I didn't feel like Hollywood was trying to destroy our values directly. I thought it was an indirect, it was a softer approach and so forth. But you've seen a change, both of you, through the studio system over time. You've seen a dramatic change in what's taken place in what we call entertainment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real shift towards the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, but we're seeing that across all corporations, and we're seeing what a horrible effect it's having. We're not hiring people based on their ability. We're hiring them based on their melanin content, as Pastor Rob would say of our church. So we really, as a culture, have shifted pretty far in the opposite direction. The goal is for this film to wake people up, to awaken the church, to get them to engage. We've been asleep at the wheel for quite a long time, Kevin, and we need to get back in and engage and take back this country and the liberties that we were founded on.
Well, I got to see a screening of it. It's a powerful film. The book is amazing too, and Eric's amazing. But what you've done, I think the term you used was visual, and it allowed me to visualize what was happening in 1930s Germany and then compare it to what's happening immediately in front of us today.
Absolutely. The film really lays out the parallel starting in 1930s Germany, and then we go into what Mao did in China, what Stalin did, and then we bring it into the modern culture and how cultural Marxism has completely taken over America and the church. So you will see the whole history of everything. Same tactics and same things that were used back then are being used today.